Hello everyone, welcome to Maths Easy. Today we are going to discuss about relative atomic mass and relative formula mass. By definition, relative atomic mass is the weighted average mass of the atoms of an element compared to 1/12 of the mass of a carbon-12 atom. For GCSE sciences, you don't really need that much details about this one, but just to give you a bit of an idea, let me explain this. Now think of a carbon-612 atom. So here we have a carbon atom. What we do is, to get a unit to compare the other atoms, we just split this into 12 equal parts. And if you just take one part out of 12, so you can see I've split this into 12 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 on the other side. If you take one part out of it, we call this one atomic mass unit. Now let's say we have another atom, and we need to get an idea about the mass of this one. So what we do is we see how many times bigger is this yellow atom compared to this blue wedge. So if it is 20 times larger, we can tell the relative atomic mass of this is 20. Now, the very helpful thing about this is that the relative atomic mass is just the same as the mass number. So at GCSE level, you can just consider it like that. So if you take the periodic table and you can see the atomic number and the mass number, so the relative atomic mass is basically the same as the mass number. Let's look at some examples to understand this better. So here are some elements. So let's find the values of AR, or relative atomic mass. Helium. So you need to look at where the helium is. Helium mass number is 4. So AR is 4. Magnesium. Magnesium is in group 2. Second group, magnesium, 12, 24. Obviously, the big number is the mass number. That's 24. So Mg's AR is 24. What about aluminium? Aluminium is in group 3, and it's 27. What about calcium? Again in group 2. Let's go to calcium, and it is 40. So AR of calcium is 40. What about sodium? It is in group 1. That's 23. Yeah. And oxygen is in group 6. Sixth group, and you can see this is 16. So it's very straightforward to find the values of AR. Here are some other elements. Please pause the video and find the values of AR. You can use your own periodic table, or you can use the one on the screen. Here are the answers. Sulfur is 32 here. Copper is 63.5 because of the isotopes. You have a decimal there. Bromine is 80 here. Neon 20 here, potassium 39 here, and iron 56. Relative formula mass is the sum of the relative atomic masses of all the atoms in a compound's formula. Now remember, relative formula mass is for a compound. So we use the symbol Mr for relative formula mass, and for relative atomic mass, we use the symbol AR. Now, take an example. Think about water. So water is H2O. So hydrogen is 1, and you got 2 atoms of hydrogen, so times it by 2. Plus oxygen. Oxygen, you can see the mass number is 16. You only got 1 of them, so 16. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 adds 16. So we know MR of water is 18. Let's take another example. Sulfuric. H2SO4. Now, hydrogen is 1 times by 2 plus sulfur. Sulfur is 32. Okay, get that one. Plus oxygen is 16, and you got 4 of those. Okay, so that is 16 multiplied by 4. 16 times 4 is 64. 64 and 32 is 96. Add 2. MR of sulfuric is 98. Let's take another example. Calcium chloride. So AR of calcium is 40. So let's put 40 here. Plus chlorine. For chlorine, it is in group 7. It's 35.5. And you can see there are 2 chlorines. So what do I need to do? I need to just double it. So you get 111 as the MR of calcium chloride. I think that's quite sufficient examples to understand what this is. Now I'm going to give you some questions to try. Here are 3 questions for you to try. Please pause the video and do these questions. When you're ready for the answer, press play. Let's check the answers. Calcium is 40. Plus oxygen, oh, there's a bracket, so let's put the bracket. Oxygen is 16, plus hydrogen is 1, and you need to double it because there's a 2 outside. So that will be 40 and 16 add 1 is 17 times 2. 17 times 2 is 34, add 40 is 74. So this is the MR of calcium hydroxide. Let's do the same thing for nitric. HNO3 is nitric acid. Hydrogen is 1. Nitrogen is 14. We have it here. Oxygen, we've used it a couple of times now. That is 16. But you have to multiply it by 3 because there's a 3 here. Now, 16 times 3 is 48. Add 14 is 62. Add 1 is 63. That is the MR of nitric. Aluminium oxide. Aluminium is 27. You can see it here. You got 2 aluminium, so let's double it. 27 times 2. Plus oxygen is 16 multiplied by 3. 27 times 2 is 54. 16 times 3 is 48. And the total is 102. So the MR of aluminium oxide is 102. Here's a slightly trickier one. Aluminium sulfate, Al2SO4 3. Please pause the video, give it a try. When you're ready for the answer, press play. Now we know aluminium is 27. So this is 27 multiplied by 2. Add sulfur is 32. Oxygen is 16. But you got 4 of them, so I have to multiply it by 4. But now you can see there is this 3 outside. So the whole thing needs to be multiplied by 3. Let's put this in the calculator, and you get 342. This is the MR of aluminium sulfate. Here are 4 more questions for you to try. Please pause the video and give it a try. When you're ready for the answer, press play. And here are the answers.